Hi there, welcome back to another Crypto Dave video. So in today's video I'm going to be talking about stablecoin yield with Ledn, and it seems like quite a good time to do this because obviously with all the hacks recently with Drift and then the issues with withdrawing money from Aave and stuff like that, a lot of people are looking at centralized finance solutions, and Ledn is one that I've used for a number of years now. This isn't a sponsored video. I'm not being paid by them to produce these videos or anything like that. This is purely my personal experiences. And in this video, I'm only going to be covering earning a yield on stablecoins. They do have other products, obviously they're Bitcoin-backed loans and their B2X products. If you're interested in those, let me know in the comments below and I will do follow-up videos with those. If you do actually look through the channel, you'll notice that I've done videos on B2X and various other products from them in the past, but they may well be a little bit out of date a few years ago, some of those now. So I've been using them since 2020. They survived that 2022 collapse when FTX collapsed and took out a number of other providers like Celsius and BlockFi at the time. They've never lost a dollar in any of their kind of like deposits in bad loans or anything like that. But what I'm concentrating today is on stablecoins. So what can you earn? And basically it's 6.5% APY up to $100,000. And then balances over $100,000 are 8%. Now that's not a tier, so you don't earn 8% on everything if you deposit over $100,000. It's just the balances over $100,000 that are earning you 8%. The first 100,000 is still earning 6.5%. And you can deposit USDC or Tether purely on Ethereum mainnet, so don't try and move anything over on layer 2s or anything like that. And what's changed slightly in the last few years is they now have transaction accounts and growth accounts. So a transaction account is where you first deposit or withdraw your money from, and then you can move it from that into a growth account, and you have to be in the growth accounts to earn interest. So let's jump over and have a look at their website, and then I'll just run you through the dashboard. I'll show you my dashboard so you can see how the platform works. Ledn.io is the website. You can read more about their products and services and everything like that here. There's examples, there's blogs, and you can contact them. The private wealth side is a fairly recent development for them. I think probably in the last year or so. If you have, I think it's more than $250,000 worth of Bitcoin-backed loans with them, you get automatically enrolled into this private wealth thing. I don't know if that's the same with the interest function. So I don't know if you having more than $250,000 of stable coins in there, you get the same thing. But if you're interested in learning more about private wealth, do let me know and I'll get someone from Ledn on for an interview and we can ask them some questions about that. But let's jump into the dashboard. So when you first log into the account, once you've signed up, you get like an overall figure here, and then you have firstly the loan balances, so any Bitcoin backed loans you might have or B2X loans you might have. As I said before, I'm happy to do videos on these if you're interested. And then you get your two sets of accounts, so the transaction accounts and growth accounts. Now, the growth accounts is the new part of the kind of platform. And before you just had these were just called accounts, they were just transaction accounts. And if I actually click through to one of these, say Bitcoin, you can see in the past you were earning interest actually on this account. You can see I've earned almost 0.2 of a Bitcoin in the past on that particular account. I should also make aware you can't currently earn yield on your Bitcoin. If I jump into the growth accounts, you see after they set up the growth accounts, I still had obviously a tiny amount of Bitcoin in here and it's earned a small amount of interest. But the interest rate for Bitcoin is currently 0. That may change in the future. Let's see. But the thing I'm going to talk about is a stablecoin. So I'll use USDC as an example because that's where I've got most of my, or I think all of my stables here at the moment. So if you want to deposit, you go to the USDC, you click deposit, it will give you a deposit address. It's Ethereum mainnet, as I mentioned before. Within a couple of minutes it will show up here, and then to earn interest, and this is the step which you must do if you want to earn interest. If you just leave it in this transaction account, it won't earn anything. You click earn interest, and then whatever balance is in your transaction account will show up here, and you can choose to move that over. It takes about 15 minutes to move it over. Let's go into the growth account. I can show you how that works. So I've currently got a balance $240,835. So that's earning me a blended interest rate of 7.37%. So as we talked about below, the first 100,000 on 6.5 and then 140,800 odd at 8%. So that's a blended rate of 8.37. Interest payments are monthly. This is the amount of interest you accrued so far in the current month, which is April. and that's total interest paid out on this account. So that's in the last probably 3 to 4 months since I've put money back into Ledn. Then you've got your activity below. So you can see here, this is when, after the DeFi kind of issues, I moved a chunk from Aave. I was quite largely over collateralized on some of my Bitcoin borrowing on Aave. So I took just under 56,000 out of there and deposited here. And I think that 10,000 there was from XtraFi potentially. All these other ones, which is twice a week, if you actually look at the kind of dates, twice a week. So I moved £5,000, British pounds, which currently translates to 6,700 odd dollars worth of USDC. In the past, a little bit less, 6.5, 6.6. I do this twice a week, so this is money that's not earning a huge amount of interest in the traditional finance system. So I've been moving £5,000 twice a week over and depositing that into Ledn. If we load some of the more transactions, you can see interest payment on the 1st of April and the previous month on the 1st of March. And you can see obviously these figures are going up as we deposit in more and more into the balance here. So that's essentially kind of how it works. Rates-wise, I think it's probably the most competitive of the large providers that I've seen. Certainly a bit better than Nexo, better than Crypto.com. And the nice thing is there's no token to own, there's no locking stuff up or anything like that. You can withdraw from your growth account whenever you want. Click withdraw, it moves it into the transaction account. It takes about 15 minutes and then you can withdraw from that transaction account into an external wallet. I'm interested to hear your experiences, other platforms you're using as well. If you'd like me to talk about any other providers, I'm happy to do that. But let me know what you think of Ledn. I think the rates at the moment are better here than they are on DeFi as well. One of the reasons is with everything that's happened in DeFi, the hacks recently, it feels a little bit more secure to be holding my money here than in Aave or something like that at the moment. I do still have substantial funds on Aave and some of these other kind of platforms. But that's my reasoning behind this. This is why I moved those extra kind of chunks in fairly recently. But let me know if you have questions. I'm happy to answer them in the comments below. Thanks very much for watching. Hope you have a great day. If you can give me a thumbs up or a like, that would be fantastic. Hopefully see you on the next video. But until then, bye-bye.